Thank you. All right, Leld. Am I pronouncing that right, or is it Leldi or
Hello,
Leoldi?
it's Lelde
Lelde. Okay,
or Joy. That's why there is Joy now. That's new.
perfect.
I'm also very new with you and your work, and actually, I'm struggling with many things. But I'm a yoga teacher. I am doing some rapid transformational therapy, which is quite new, and meditation. So I am not clear, like, and I don't have a website. So some people tell me you need a website, then others, you don't need a website, just need a sales page. And then they say you focus on one thing. And I guess I don't know where to really begin. And
I hear you. I hear you. It's so overwhelming. You get started in these things, and everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's, going to tell you what to do, what you need, and what you don't need, but
how
this
do
is
I get
yeah.
clear on what, and do I need to do that actually? If I just focus on one of those activities, do I just do hypnotherapy, like rapid transformational therapy, and work with people one-on-one? Or I started teaching in a company, like giving classes during lunchtime, which I enjoy
Sure.
and seem to as well. So do I do some of that? Do I do all of that? Or
Totally. You're asking the right questions. There's no easy answer, but let me just talk about this. There's 4 stages of growing a business. So if you go to, I think it's marketingforhippies.com/4 stages or 4-stages, it's there. I mean, I'll give the brief version, but stage 4 is the final stage. And it's where it's called the enterprise level. And this is where you could go traveling for 6 months and your business keeps running without you. Stage 3 is where most people want to get, and that's where the cash flow is pretty stable. You've got maybe a few people helping you out assistant wise, and you're paying them and everyone's getting paid well. Life is good. This is the momentum phase, yeah, where you're just really able to get in a rhythm with it. Stage 2 is the concentration phase, and this is where you're starting to focus. So you don't have a niche, but you probably have the beginnings of one, but your cash flow is like this. Because you promote something and then you make a bunch of money with that thing. And so, well, that's great. And then you go do the thing. But while you're doing the thing, you're not marketing other things. So by the time you're done, you're broke, and you need, so it's a roller coaster. And at this level, you are paying your bills, but you're not sustaining yourself really properly. And you're squeaking. Maybe you have some part-time help, but it's just you're squeaking by. Stage 1 is the creation phase. And stage 1 is just you're experimenting a lot. You don't have a niche. You don't really know what you want to do. And you're just kind of trying stuff out. So here's the ideal situation. First of all, it takes at least 3 years to get from stage 1 to stage 3. At least 3 years. It just takes time. And that's usually with some help. That's usually not just freestyling. That's a bit of help. And also making decisions around your niche, etc. The ideal situation is you've got enough money saved up, or you have somebody who can take care of you during that time financially, that your financial needs are very minimal for the business. So you're not having to lean on it. You're not counting on the business for the money. And that gives you a few years to do the experimenting, to try a bunch of different things, to see what works, because we just do need to experiment in the beginning. Or better said, everything will be an experiment in the beginning, and some of them will work and some of them won't. And of course, with, if you get some coaching and some help, they'll probably be smoother, but you do need to try different things. The challenge is people often start with no savings and they just launch into it. So now it has to work. But that first stage isn't very friendly to have to work. So because the beauty of that first stage is no pressure. You just get to experiment, try things out to land on something. So if we try to make it work too fast, then we sometimes prematurely niche, which, doesn't always work. So that's just part of the dynamic that I think is maybe there for you. So my question is, are you needing this business to work for money, or do you have money saved, or do you have support, or what's your current situation?
it's complicated.
Okay.
I mean, I have support I just got divorced from my ex-husband,
I see.
and I did try to look for a job even in between, but it didn't really work out well. I have children. So it's like yes and no. Yes, I do have support and pressure from the side that, you know, when you're gonna earn your own money. And I've been doing and teaching for a long time already, but I never, it was money and earning money wasn't the focus because I was supported and I was more being a mom, housewife. So yeah, it's a bit of both, kind of.
I hear it. Okay. Here's the thing I would do is I would do the puttering prep work. That's one of the easiest things to do. Just start focusing on who do you want to work with most. Here's the fortunate thing about your situation, though, is that you have experience. And so this is the time where you get to harvest that. You get to think back on all the people you've worked with. And one exercise that can be very helpful, I can't remember if it was in the exercise, but very simple. You sit down and you think about who've been my favorite clients I've ever had and who've been the least favorite ones. You come up with a top 10 favorite, top 10 least favorite. Just put one name on an index card, one name on another, and then you'll have 20 index cards. And then you just sit down and go through them. Like, what was it about this person I liked? What was it about this person I didn't like? Then it's very real and concrete. It's from your actual experience. You're not making it up, which is the challenge. People do these ideal client things and you read it and it has a kind of hypothetical air to it, which isn't that helpful. So I would do that. But then the other question I'd be really reflecting on, and in fact, are you in my membership, Love?
Not, no, okay. No, not yet, or I don't know.
Zero pressure at all. It's just that there's a playlist in there, but I also have a playlist on YouTube. So let's see. It's about lifestyle, and this is a really key consideration when we're starting to think about how we want to build our business. What is it going to look like? One of the questions is who, but the other question is how. And oops. So I have a playlist of videos on this topic. There we go. So it's called Lifestyle and Business Design for those of you who are trying to find it later. And I'll put the link here in the chat. So Lifestyle in Business Design. And here's the short course on it. When we're developing a business, there's this numbing question of where do I start? Because there's so many ideas. Everyone's got opinions, where to start. So this is, I think, the meta conversation. We start with what's the lifestyle we want to have? How do we want to spend our days? And we reverse engineer everything from that. For example, just last week, I was talking with a woman in Brighton, England. She worked with women in leadership positions in the theater community. And by the time that we got to the end of the conversation, it sort of honed to women in leadership, feminist mothers in leadership positions in the arts community. That was really what she was going for. But from a lifestyle standpoint, she did not want to be traveling and she didn't want to be on her computer a lot. So we started thinking, okay, could people come to Brighton to visit you? Could you do things where you set up events there? And it's like, if you really want to work with me, come here. So you see what I'm saying? This completely changes the whole structure of the business. But that's the foundation. We start with the lifestyle we want and we back our business into it. We don't start with the business model and then try to think about our lifestyle. So if you start with who do I want to work with most, like who would really light me up? What problems and challenges do they have? But second, how do I want to spend my days? If you start with those two things, I think you'll find that will at least give you some clarity as to next steps. And so try that and then come back next month and let's see if we can help you take another step on that.
Great. Thank you so much.
And for all of you, if you're in a situation where you're just, boy, I need some money right away, it's a bit of a crunch, which God, haven't we all been there? Let me just see. I think this is on my website under the free stuff, under the interviews, I think. Yeah, so if you go to my marketingforhippies.com/interviews, there's an interview, and I'll put the link here, but it's 9 ways to survive cash flow dips with Barry Tesler. And the link here. And that's got some ideas of just quick things you can do because you know, that's just how it is. Sometimes we just need to make money quickly. And those are, I think there's actually more than 9 ideas I share, but maybe that'll be of some use as well.
Great.
All
Thank
right.
you so
Well, bless you, Leld. I can't wait to see what you come up with.
much.